Alright, so I just got out of seeing the new 28 Years Later, which is the third entry into the 28 franchise. It's directed by Danny Boyle and written by the GOAT, Alex Garland. I give Alex Garland a lot of credit because he directed my favorite film of the year so far, Warfare, which I highly recommend you go see. Well, it's not in theaters anymore, but you can still see it at home, I believe. Definitely watch that movie. Now, 28 years later, is it better than the sequel 28 weeks later? Yes. Yes. But is it better than the original 2003, I believe, 2003, 28 Days Later with Cillian Murphy? No. No, that's definitely the best entry into the franchise. But this is, I would say it's mid. It definitely lacked action. There wasn't many action set pieces or crazy stuff with the infected as I would like. The characters were pretty weak. I didn't really care about the main antagonist, the kid. I didn't care about his sick mother. Personally, for me, the strongest human character was the doctor with the big skull temple, and then the father, who actually apparently turned out to be like sort of a bad guy per se. This will contain spoilers. So basically, it starts out where they're in this like protected village on an island outside of the mainland UK, and they're safe in this village until one day the father decides to take our main protagonist, the kid, out on a sort of adventure to go see out and basically train him to fight the infected. And on this journey, they encounter like an alpha infected, which I guess this is a new concept within the 28 Days franchise. Now, granted, I haven't watched the 28 Months Later because that just, everyone says that's awful. You don't need to watch that. But this is a new type of infected, I guess. It's a alpha infected. It's big, it's taller, it's stronger. It has like more defense. You could shoot more arrows into it. It won't die. So that's a cool concept. But they encounter the alpha, and they take refuge in this house up in the attic. And they basically, the house collapses, so they flee. And in the distance, they see a pillar of smoke, a big fire, way off into the distance, right? And the father character says that, oh, that's the crazy doctor that lives over there, right? So they go back to the village. The son finds out that his mother is actually sick, and he wants to help her, right? So his only option is to go find this doctor, and maybe he can cure her of whatever her ailment is. He finds out that his father was cheating on his mother with a certain other woman. So then they go out to basically find this doctor. Now, I think the strongest character, in my opinion, so there's this group of Swedish Navy men, right? And they are basically, all the countries like France and stuff like this are basically have quarantined the UK to keep the infection only within the UK. So they're basically, there's a scene where they're patrolling, French soldiers are patrolling UK like in a boat around in the sea. And this group of Swedish Navy men, apparently they crash land into the UK. And there's probably the biggest action set piece, the biggest action scene in the movie is when these Swedish fighters are basically running through this alley. And, they're like taking fire, or they're shooting rather, not taking fire, and they're running from the zombies. And they all die. They all die besides one Swedish Navy man. So then what happens is that the son, well, I already said, the son goes back out into the mainland UK to find this doctor character in hopes that he could cure his mother from whatever ailment she has. So they go out and they encounter the one last survivor of the Swedish Navy. And he was honestly the strongest character in the film. Like, I think he was totally right in everything he did. So yeah, they encounter him. He saves their life, and then they basically continue on this quest to go to this big puff of smoke, this big flame off into the distance in the forest to find this doctor. And the mother character who's sick finds a pregnant zombie, who gives zombie birth, I guess you could say. And this scene made no sense to me. Me personally, I would have never went near this pregnant zombie and helped the zombie give birth. I think that was a very weird scene, right? The Navyman, the Swedish Navyman, was basically telling, get the fuck away. It's a zombie, right? Or infected is what they call it in the series, not zombies. And he shoots the pregnant zombie, which was the right thing to do. And then the son character and the mother get all mad at him, and it's like, how could you? Oh my god. So then they take the pregnant zombie. Before she got shot, she gave birth to this baby that seems to not be infected, right? It just seems to be a regular human zombie. So then they take the regular zombie, and then the Swedish Navyman, he shoots the zombie after it gave birth, and then the big alpha zombie shows up and rips his skull off. It's happened like 2 or 3 times in the movie, this weird thing. I don't know what Garland was thinking, but he seemed to be obsessed with detaching people's spines. The alpha zombie seems to have a thing for ripping people's heads off with their spine. It's a cool, gory thing, right? So he rips the spine and head off the Swedish Navyman, and then the mother and father character, they run away, or mother and son character. It's confusing because for some reason the mother is suffering from delusions from whatever her illness is and will refer to her own son as father. So that's a weird thing. So they run away, and they run into the doctor that they've been looking for. He has like a sleep dart sedation thing where he goes, right, he shoots it into the alpha zombie and it gets sedated and it's just standing there, immobile. So then they run to his little base he has set up, which is probably the coolest set piece in the film. It's put on the posters and everything. It's the big skull shrine or tower. It's just this giant structure that's built of skulls, and there's like wooden sticks poked in it, and that looks cool. That looks has the very like post-apocalyptic crazy sort of aesthetic that I like. So basically they go to the doctor's place, and the doctor is able to determine that she most likely has cancer and it's metastasized, and that's why she was suffering from all these crazy delusions and stuff, because it basically went to her brain. So they decide that the humane thing to do is basically just to kill her, to put her out of her misery. So they kill her. He exhumes her skull, right? He puts people's heads into this big furnace and basically burns off all the flesh, and basically just has the skull remaining. So he hands the skull of the dead mother to the son to put onto the skull temple. And then the next morning, the big alpha zombie shows up again because he wasn't killed, right? He was just sedated. So he shows up again. They hide in this. They take the seemingly not infected baby from the zombie. They take that. They hide in this little shaft underground, and they evade the big alpha zombie. And then they go, and the doctor character stays there at his base, and then the son returns back to the safe village to put the baby in safekeeping, and then he goes out. For whatever reason, it's not explained really, but he decides to go back out and explore the mainland UK more. And then the one scene at the very end, which is very odd, it felt extremely out of place. I didn't really understand what was going on. I don't know who these characters were, who Jimmy was. Now, granted, the Cillian Murphy, however you pronounce it, Cillian Murphy, right, the main character from the first movie, 28 Days Later, his name was Jim, right? So the weird characters that show up, they look like Slavic almost. They have like these, like the Adidas clothes on. It's very weird. They have like these gold chains. He has an upside down gold cross. And they basically fight off all these zombies and save the kid, right? and then that's how the movie ends. And apparently there's going to be a sequel, Shrine of Bones or something it's called. It's coming out in a few months, I think. Alex Garland is really working himself to the bone. He's released so many movies: Civil War, Warfare, 28 years later, and now the sequel to 28 years later. Presumably, I think it's coming out in a few months. But presumably these characters are going to be a main pivotal plot point. These new people, Jimmy and his whole group of people, are going to be a new plot point, right? So yeah, that's basically the plot of the film. There's a stupid scene, in my opinion, where Cillian, however you pronounce it, Murphy, he shows up as a zombie. He's infected. He gets shot through the face with an arrow. Stupid cameo. I thought the ending of 28 Days Later was better, where he and the two girls escape from that military base and they survive, but apparently I guess he eventually died or was killed by the zombies and infected. So overall, I would say the movie's mid. It's definitely not as good as the original 28 Days Later. It's certainly better than 28 Weeks Later. So yeah, that's what I'd say. If you like zombie films, there's honestly probably better zombie films. Just watch the first 28 Days Later. But if you're a zombie fan, there's plenty of other zombie things, like The Last of Us show, and although that kind of looks like shit anyway, but you know what I get, right? There's plenty of other zombie media out there to consume. So this is definitely something you could watch at home. It's not required for a theater. Probably wasted money on my ticket. Tomorrow I will be I will be returning here to go see F1 in IMAX. That definitely seems like a movie theater movie, right? I definitely want to see that on the biggest screen I could find, definitely in IMAX. I'm very much looking forward to that. I kind of wish I watched that instead of this movie tonight, but at least I watched it, so now I don't have to watch this again. Maybe I'll rewatch it when the new sequel to this movie comes out in a few months or years or however long it's going to take. So yeah, it's okay. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. I would say it's mid. So yeah, F1 review coming tomorrow. And then after that, probably Jurassic Park, which didn't get very good reviews so far, but I'll still go and see it. That review will probably come maybe... It's coming out July 2nd, but I need to rewatch the entire Jurassic Park franchise, so that will probably be July 6th, 7th, will be my review on that. So, if you like movie reviews, if you like video games, if you like music, K-pop, etc., go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I'll be uploading more frequently, hopefully. I'm going to try and upload a gameplay of the Dune Awakening, Expedition 33, and various other new releases, new games. So thank you for watching, and go ahead and subscribe if you'd like. Thank you very much. See you later, guys. Alright, real quick as I'm driving back, I just wanted to add two more things to my review. They advertised this film as shot on iPhone. It wasn't really shot on iPhone. They used a bunch of different lenses and stuff like that to increase the quality. But yeah, I just wanted to comment about the cinematography. There were weird camera angles, weird ways in which they'd zoom into characters' faces and have like this almost weird POV shot of like the zombies that would like kind of change speed almost. I thought it was weird at times. Sometimes it was cool, but most of the time it really didn't work, and it just kind of took you out of the movie. And some of the choice of soundtrack was a bit weird and felt off. So those were like 2 or 3 things I wanted to add to my review. I'll probably add this into the main 13-minute video through an edit or something. So yeah, thank you.